Okay, so T, I'm going to be asking you some questions today in the lesson, but while I'm talking, do you want to mute your microphone? When you're ready to talk, you can unmute it.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so welcome everybody. We're going to talk about the textbook today, chapters 3 and 4. And on today's agenda, we're going to start with a couple of announcements and review, and then we will talk about chapter 3, which is about main ideas, and then chapter 4, supporting details. So let's start with a couple of announcements. I want to just remind everybody that as far as grading, you need to maintain an average of 70 or higher to pass the class. And I talked a little bit about the grades in my last video, but just to remind you, I'm grading the labs and all your quizzes. So the average together needs to be 70 or higher to get credit for this class. And I have an attendance requirement. I want you to check Blackboard and your MyTCC email at least twice per week in order to be counted present for the class. And so far, everybody's been doing very well with that. So no problems there. And then I want to remind everybody that we have a discussion board assignment this week. I would like for you to finish it by tomorrow so that I have time to respond to everybody's posts. The discussion board is a great place for us to connect as a class and for you to get to know your classmates and really get a better understanding of the topic. And this week's topic in the discussion board is about our novel and answering a couple of questions. So even if you're not sure about the answers to the questions, go ahead and just put something in there because it gives us a chance to respond to what you say, and we can actually learn more if we work together in that discussion board. So this week, I would like everybody to have at least one post in that discussion board, and then next week, we're going to do even more because I have 2 assignments that are going to use the discussion board. And so I think it will help us to learn our text and our novel a little bit better. So that's the announcements. Any questions about that?
No?
Okay, good. So let's review chapter 2 a moment here. Chapter 2, I know you did your homework, so I appreciate that. And you, as well as another student, I noticed, had a couple of problems with page 72. So I wanted to talk about that before we get into chapter 3. But are there any other questions from chapter 2 as you were doing some of the work? T, do you have any questions that you want me to help you with chapter 2?
No, I just want to ask about the 73 page.
Yeah.
What does it mean number 2 SQ3R? What does it mean of this word?
Yeah, that is some steps in comprehension. The Q step of SQ3R. I believe we're not doing that in this class, but I believe that is it's like a reading comprehension strategy, and it's just 4 different steps to do. And let me see if I can quickly find the page. I'm guessing this is going to be from, yeah, okay. The study method or reading method from page 13 in your book. Page 13 and 14.
Yeah.
It kind of describes what it means. So the SQ3R means survey, question, read, recite, and review.
Oh,
It's
okay.
kind of like steps you can take to be a better reader.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's on page 14. So that's a great question for the class. Anybody who's interested in that, you're welcome to go back to page 14 and practice those steps as you're reading. But we did not do chapter 1. That's not one of the requirements for this course, so I didn't cover that. Okay, but good question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I want to talk for a moment about page 71 and at number 7, letter A.
Yes.
A couple of students had questions about this, so I just want to go over it with you one more time just to make sure you understood in my email what I was saying. So
Yes.
the connotative meaning is talking about the emotional or the emotional response or feeling that's kind of inside of that word. And like I said in my last video, this is hard for English learners to get because the connotative meaning is usually not in any dictionaries or translators. It comes, how do you learn it? It comes through learning about the context and how people use it. So, for example, they gave you this word extinction. And it asks, was it positive or negative? This is really hard to know because you have to kind of guess. And how do we know if it's positive or negative? Well, we look at page 72, it doesn't say, oh, extinction is a negative, word, whatever. It doesn't say anything. But let me show you a couple of clues to let us know that the feeling that comes with this word is a negative thing. Extinction is usually used with something that's not good, that people usually don't want and don't like in this world. So look at this sentence in the paragraph 1 where it says the ultimate fate of any species is extinction. You see that?
Yes.
Yeah, the ultimate fate. Fate is a word that means something's going to happen. There's nothing you, okay? This is final. So that's a little bit negative, and then it has the word the death of the last of its members. That's a little bit sad when we talk about death of every last creature. So that's a little negative there. Look at the second paragraph. In it, the last sentence says two major environmental factors that may drive a species to extinction. Okay, when it says drive the species to extinction, that the word drive kind of means forces or move towards. Again, it's kind of like fate, like they can't change it, it's going to happen. And then down in the fourth paragraph, that really long paragraph, it talks about South American species and North American species. If you kind of read through that, you will see it says that the evolution, like the last sentence, the evolution had bestowed on the North American species a set of adaptations that enabled. Adaptations means you're changing, you're growing, you're developing. So that's kind of positive. It says adaptations that enabled. Enabled means now you have the power, now you can do it. So that's positive too. Enable their descendants to exploit resources more efficiently and effectively. Okay, so that's positive. Than, all right, so now we're comparing because we use the word than. The South American counterparts could. So it looks like North American was good, but the South American species bad. That's what I get from that sentence. I get a positive and negative. South American species are the ones that became extinct. Okay, so again, we have that idea of extinction, and it's connected to those South American species, and those are the ones that didn't make it. They didn't adapt. So I know it's really kind of challenging to see that, but extinction was seen as something that is we don't want, but it still happens. So we're going to say that that's got a negative connotation. So does that kind of make sense, T, or you still have a question about it?
Mm, no.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. South American species, many of them went extinct. So that's like, uh-oh. It's like the bad part. So it's got a negative connotation. Um, and so I like this question because it kind of challenged you guys a little bit. And maybe with the next question, I want you to be a little more aware of the difficulties of finding connotation and keep looking for clues. That's kind of what I'm trying to teach you in this course is how do we look beyond just what the words say? Because we can read the words and we can look at the dictionary, we can understand maybe the word, but how do we look into more than that? That's one of the things the novel does for us as well, because we're going to talk about a lot of things with the novel, the story, the characters, what's happening, why, and this textbook also gives us practice with looking at context, looking at connotation, and understanding like what's behind the meaning. Next week, we're going to look at implied main ideas. And again, implied means it's not stated clearly. You have to kind of look around and guess and, use different strategies to find the meaning. So that's going to be next week. We'll look at those ideas some more. Okay, so keep working. Don't get frustrated. It's not easy. It takes years of practice to get this. All right.
Mhm.
Okay, any other questions before we go to chapter?
Mm. So, how can I know the word have the prefix and a suffix?
Okay,
So when I see the word, and how can I know the word have the suffix or prefix?
okay, this is my easiest way of explaining it. Okay, let's look at page 61 for examples, all right?
Yeah.
Page 61. Okay, not always, but most of the time, the basic way of understanding prefixes and suffixes is to look at those little letters that you will see on lots of different words. Okay, and if you take those little letters off, you most of the time you still have a word. So for example, let's look at the word disagree in the middle of page 61. You see that word disagree on the right side?
On the right. Which one? Which one?
Page 61, and in the middle section of the green box.
Yeah.
Okay, disagree. So how do we know if disagree has a prefix? Let's look inside of the word. You can see the word agree, right?
Mm-hmm.
So agree, and then we have these three little letters in the front. So that means that the dis part is the prefix because I just added that to the other word, agree. Okay, another example, unpopular. Okay, if I look in that, I can see the word popular. And then I have those two little letters that are added to the front, un. So that means un is the prefix. So prefixes and suffixes are little letters that are added to a word. Now, sometimes they are actually part of the word. Like you can't really separate it. Like, let me see. Well, maybe not. Let me see. I was thinking diameter. Well, I guess you could take off the dia part. Okay, like for example, scent. Well, I guess scent is a word, but that's a verb. But when you put before it, absent,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's kind of like it sounds weird if you say um, sent and then absent, or like sent is the opposite of absent. That one's kind of different. So I would keep those together. But you can see most of them here. I'm looking at all of these. They all have word at the end, a complete word, and then they added a couple of letters. Okay, there's one right there. I see one at the top. Do you see decimal? Decimal.
Decimal.
If I take off deci and I just have mul is not a word. So this is one of those that kind of doesn't fit with my idea, the exceptions. Mul is not a word. So we have to have that decimal, but deci still has meaning to that word. It means 10. But most of the other words, like unpopular, misunderstanding, asymmetrical, those have a word and then they added the prefix to it. Like symmetrical is a word, war is a word, agree is a word, and they just added the prefix to it. So how do you know what a prefix is? My easy answer is try to find a word inside of that word and then look and see if there's extra letters added to it. And then also become more familiar with this list of prefixes. Okay, because the more you know your prefixes, the easier it will be to find them in other words.
But when I send you the question, also no, my answer
Hmm.
for the number 5 is 73.
Yeah,
Little b is
yeah.
the predation.
Um, yeah, radiation, right, yes.
Yeah, which is the prefix?
Radi or raid might be a prefix. I don't know. I don't know all the prefixes. It's not on the list on page 61.
Mm.
It might still be a prefix, but I don't know. But shun is a suffix.
Mm.
It's
So
on page 67. We have the ION. So I know that's a suffix. And here's the thing, too, like I said in my email, sometimes a word has a suffix, but it does not have a prefix.
okay.
And sometimes a word has a prefix and a suffix. And sometimes it has neither. It doesn't have a prefix or a suffix. So
Mhm.
it's just like little clues to help you maybe understand the meaning of a word or the word form. Like whenever you see TION or SION, that's going to be a noun form. So the suffix kind of helps you recognize the form of the word. And then um, they also have common meanings, like the word re means back or again, like rewind, redo, review, react.
Yeah.
So if I were you, I would try to focus on some of those common suffix and prefixes that we see a lot, and just start to look at the meaning of those. You can't memorize all of them, but maybe 5 or 6, and then start looking for words that have those prefixes and suffixes, and see how it will change the meaning of a word. Like I do my homework and then I redo my homework. So that means I do it again, you know. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Okay, good. We're doing good. Let's go to our chapter 3. Chapter 3 was about finding the main idea. So I have 2 things I want to talk about with this chapter. I'm kind of giving you the key points from this chapter. So the first part of the chapter focuses on finding the topic and noticing general and specific. So hopefully this is a review for us. T, have you ever taken a reading class before, or is this your first one?
This is the first one.
Okay, great. Well, you made it all the way to level 3 in the first shot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so
Okay.
difficult with me.
Yeah, I know it is. It's
So I
hard.
don't know. They refer to me 2 or 3, but
Okay,
but your schedule don't have the reading 2, so
right.
they offer to me reading 3 is too hard.
Okay. Well, the good news is level 2 is very similar to level 3. I just taught level 2 in the spring, starting back in January, and we talked about finding the main idea. We talked about supporting details, implied meaning, which we're going to talk about next week. So I think you got lucky because level 2 is very similar to level 3.
Mhm.
So let's look at this. We're starting out with very simple concepts in chapters 2, 3, and 4. Once we get to chapter 5, it's going to get challenging. We're going to look at meaning and things that are not stated, but they're still true and they're still there. And that's called implied meaning. So for these first couple of chapters, what we're focusing on is the overall structure of paragraphs and how do we, how do we organize it? How do we look at what the main idea is and then what the smaller details are? So we want to make sure that we can understand general and specific information. We have to be able to determine the differences between a general point in a paragraph and then a specific point or piece of information, okay? So when we're looking for the topic, that's going to be general,
Mhm.
okay? So what I tell students is when you're looking for the topic of a paragraph, a good place to look is maybe the first or second sentence, but you really need to read all of it. And you're going to look for words that are more general than other ideas in the paragraph. So I call this like the umbrella test. If you think of an umbrella, you have this large piece over the top. And then underneath that, you have smaller things. Like when I carry my umbrella, it has to be big enough to cover my whole head and beyond my head, right? My shoulders and out. I can't have an umbrella that's only 6 inches long, right?
Mhm.
All umbrellas are supposed to be larger than your head and shoulders. So when we think about main ideas, those are going to be bigger, more general than what's underneath it. So, for example, I have a very simple little picture here. I have an
Mhm.
umbrella and I put in the top. So, fruit is supposed to be my main idea,
Mhm.
and that's going to be general. And then underneath, we have some more specific things. What are different types of fruit? What do you see there? That's the different types of fruit.
Different.
Yeah, under the umbrella.
Mhm. I don't know.
Can you see the picture?
Yeah.
The The umbrella. Okay, I have fruit there. And then underneath I have 4 words.
Yeah.
Okay,
Banana.
which one of those words are examples of fruit?
I think banana and apple.
Excellent. That's correct. Just banana and apple. So banana is more specific than fruit because fruit includes many things. Bananas, apples, kiwis, strawberries.
Yeah.
Fruit is more general. Banana is specific. Apple
Yeah.
is specific.
Mhm.
Okay. You see that relationship between those words? Okay. So that's why that's a main idea, fruit. So I might have a sentence in a paragraph and it might say, I enjoy several different types of fruit. That would be a main idea sentence because it's general. And then inside my paragraph, I'm going to have sentences that are more specific. Like it might say, one type of fruit I really like is bananas. Another type of fruit is apples. So those are specific sentences. They're not main idea. Okay? Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so here comes the challenging part. What if you have other words that kind of look like maybe they fit? What do we do with those? Like, look at the word carrots. Can we put carrots under this umbrella of our main idea of fruit?
Carrot. Um, I know what for carrot. Carrot maybe is the food, and maybe you for first.
Okay, so are carrots a type,
Yeah.
but actually carrots are vegetables.
Yeah. I know which
Hey,
one.
hey, it's early in the morning, T. It's okay. You're just thinking, well, I eat carrots, but I don't know if they're fruits or vegetables. Yeah, carrots are actually vegetables. They're not fruit. So if I try to put carrots under the umbrella, then it's going to be wrong. It's not placed correctly.
Yes.
So carrots is what we would call off topic. It's not related to our main idea. So to have a sentence about carrots in our paragraph if our main idea is fruit. You see, we would have to take that sentence out. It's off topic, okay?
Yes.
Now, what about the word food? Can I have food under the umbrella? That's correct. Why?
So I don't know how to explain, but food is they have people eat to phone eat
Mhm.
for phone, but first is like water, like juice. Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to use the word general. Is food more
Yeah.
general than
Food
fruit?
in general.
Yeah. Food is a more general word than fruit. Okay. So
Yeah.
if I put food on the top of the umbrella, then I can put bananas, apples, carrots, fruit under. Right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. But I have fruit as my topic or main idea. I cannot put food inside that as a detail because it's food is too general. It's not supposed to be general, more general than our main idea. So you see what I mean?
Yes.
So this is a very it becomes harder when we start to read sentences, right? Because then we have to kind of search through everything, and it's a little bit harder to find general and specific. But today we're going to look at an example in your book, and I will show you how to do it in a real paragraph, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the second way the second thing that we're looking at here, right here where it says find keywords, okay? This is another way to help us find a main idea. So after we've looked for general and specific, okay? Now we need to look for keywords. Keywords are like important words. When you think of a key, it unlocks doors, right? It gets you to where you're trying to go. It's important. You can't get inside the room unless you have the key. Keywords means words that are going to tell you the main idea. They're going to help you unlock the meaning of a sentence. Okay? So how do we do that? We look for words repeated in the paragraph. And in just a moment, I'm going to show you a paragraph where we have a couple of words that are repeated several times in the same paragraph. That would be a keyword. Okay. We can also look for synonyms of repeated words. And a synonym is a word that has a similar meaning as another word. So if I said large, a synonym would be big. If I say tiny, what's a synonym?
Synonym. What does it mean, synonym?
Synonym means a word has a similar meaning. So like large and big, those are synonyms. What about tiny? What's a synonym?
Tiny? Tiny for what?
What does tiny mean? If I said, my shoes, my feet are tiny, what does that mean?
It means that make you uncomfortable with it, like.
Does it mean it's really small?
Yeah, right.
Exactly. So tiny and small are synonyms.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look at my example. The word canine, dog, and furry friend. These can all be synonyms. These are synonyms. So if I have a paragraph and the paragraph has the word canine, and another sentence has the word dog, and another sentence has furry friend, these can be keywords because I'm talking about the same topic. I'm talking about dogs. Okay. Another example is a paragraph that will have America and the states, because America, we refer to the United States as America, and sometimes we say the states, right?
Yes.
So these would be keywords because it's repeated. Okay. And when we're looking for keywords, we can also look for a number and a plural noun to help us find a main idea. So for example, if I see something that says several types, like remember we talked about the fruit. There are several types of fruit that I like. That's a main idea sentence. Okay. So a lot of times these kind of words are clues. They will help you find a main idea. Another example is many ways. So if I have a sentence that says, there are many ways to be healthy, that could be a main idea sentence.
Yes.
Because it's going to be like our umbrella top. It's a general, it's got a topic, but it's general. And then underneath that, I'm going to put more specific things like eat healthy, exercise. Okay. Okay. Do you have any questions? Do an example together.
No.
All right. We're doing good. Let's go to the next one. And we're going to look at this paragraph together. This is actually in your book, homework for this week. But I want to do it together so that you can see how we get to the answer. Okay, so the first thing I want you to notice is words that I highlighted. Do you see that? 4 phases.
Yeah.
Okay, a phase means like a step. in a process. So for example, a phase for humans, like as we're growing up, the first phase is infant. The second phase is toddler. The third phase is child, and then we have teenager, and
Yeah,
then adult, right?
yeah, I know this.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So you know phases. So look at that first sentence. It says small group discussions progress through four phases. So can you see right here we have a number four and we have a plural noun phases. You remember like four and then we have phases. So that's
Yeah.
telling you, hey, this is probably main idea.
Mhm.
So let's go back. So we've got a main idea sentence. And here we have a topic, small group discussions. Okay. Now I'm going to read this, and what I want you to do is we're going to look for minor details. So major details are going to be, it's going to be the actual phases, what the phases are. There's going to be four of our major details. These are general. And then we're going to look for minor details. Minor is going to be even more specific. So it says the first is orientation, when the members become comfortable. Second is the conflict phase. Disagreements and tensions become evident. The amount of conflict varies. The third phase is known as emergence. The members begin to try to reach a decision. The members who created conflict begin to move towards a middle road. The final phase is the reinforcement phase when the decision is reached. The members of the group offer positive reinforcement toward each other and the decision. So I have one paragraph, I've got my top. Now, what I want us to do together, I want you to see if you can find the major details. What are the four phases?
Um, the orientation.
Yes, good, excellent. That's the first one.
The second is the conflict phase.
Good.
The
Conflict phase.
conflict, and the third phase is known as emergencies.
Emergence. Yeah.
Emergent, yeah. And the final phase is reinforcement.
Reinforcement. Okay. Have number one, orientation. Number two, conflict phase. Number three,
Conflict,
emergence.
emergent.
And number four, reinforcement. Okay, you got those all correct the first time. How did you do that?
So because in the first sentence, they already tell the 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 main idea
Yeah.
in the fourth page.
Yes.
So I just go for the word, so the show the
Follow the
fourth.
words. Yeah. Good. And you probably saw words like first,
Yeah,
second,
second,
third, final. Yeah,
yes.
those are called transitions, and we're going to talk about those next. But yeah, so you found what we call major details. All right. And here's a visual that you can look at that's from your book. Main ideas at the top, that's more general. Remember our umbrella picture, right? We got main idea at the top. Under that, we have the major details. And then each of the major details has a minor detail. So orientation is one of the phases. But what is orientation? What does that mean? Well, we look at the minor details. Members become comfortable with each other. That's what orientation means. You see? So minor details are very specific. Major details are a little bit specific, a little bit general. And main idea is very general. Okay? So now what I want you to do next is I want you to see if you can fill in this part, the major detail, the second one, and then the minor detail under that. Okay? And I'm going to go back to the paragraph if you want to look at it. Let's look for the second major detail and the second minor detail.
The second is the conflict.
Yes.
Conflict. And the minor detail is disagreements and tensions.
Yeah, disagreements and tensions, and you can say become evident, or you can say start or show up, you know. Okay, good. What about this other sentence where it says the amount of conflict varies with each group? Where does that fit? Is that a major detail or minor detail or what?
Is minor details.
Yes. Good. So this one, conflict phase, has 2 minor details. Yep, you got that one correct. Okay, let's do the other one real quick, and then we'll talk about transitions. What is the third major detail and minor detail that's missing?
The third major detail is emergence.
Yes, emergence. Good.
Minor detail is member choice to watch detail. Decision. And the number 2 is the member who create a conflict.
Yeah. They begin to move toward a middle road. Middle road is kind of a cultural phrase or idiom, and it means moving to an agreement. Like they meet halfway. I give a little, you give a little, and then we can agree on something. So that's our number 2 minor detail. You are correct. So good job. Any questions about this?
No.
Okay, so do you understand a little bit more now about general ideas and then specific and then more specific in a paragraph?
Yeah.
Okay, good, excellent. All right, we got one more thing to talk about in this chapter. We're looking at transitions. So transitions are what I showed you in that paragraph, like the word first, the word another, or also. Okay, what's another transition that you can think of? There's also some in your book, but can you think of another word that would be a transition? If you need some help, you can look at page 136 and the top of page 137. So remember in the paragraph that we just read, we looked at where it says the first and second and third and the final. Okay, those are examples of transitions, but look in the green box on page 136.
136.
Okay, you also see there's some other kinds of transitions. At the
Yeah.
top of the box, the top of the box you see first, later, next, finally, okay? Those
Yeah.
show time sequence. Those are like the ones we saw in the paragraph about small group discussions, okay? But there's other kinds of transitions, like for example, or also, on the other hand, okay? These,
Yeah.
yeah, these are transition words. So here's my, what's the purpose of transitions? Why do we have transitions in a paragraph? What do you think? Just guess.
I think the example make the reader uh, understand what does the main idea.
Yeah. Yes. That's a great answer. The purpose of transitions is to help the reader understand the material in the paragraph better and faster.
Yeah.
It will help you find the major details because we see it says first, it says second, it says third, it says last. So that's helping us find those major details in sentences. Okay. So let's do a little practice together and then we'll be done for today.
Mhm.
There are two transitions here that are on page 136, because and therefore. Can you give me an example sentence?
Mm, so wait. Um, I have, so I have a sentence like smoking cause to demand to your body, which can lead to long-term health problem. Because, oh no, let's start again.
Okay.
Uh, the tobacco products is not good for your health because tobacco products harm people's health. Tobacco products should be banned.
Okay, so you're explaining why topical products are not good for your health, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how we use good. The word because tells us reasons why or cause and effect. And
Mhm.
the word therefore also tells us cause and effect. So I have an example here. It has the same meaning, but I used different transitions. So the first one says the company closed after 10 years because of bad management. So right here you see bad management is the reason, or we could also say the cause, okay? Reason or cause. And then the company closed, that's the result, or that's the
Mhm.
effect. Okay. So we use the word because to show that we're talking about cause and effect. Cause
Mhm.
and effect. Okay. The second sentence says the company suffered from bad management. Therefore, it closed after 10 years. So what is the cause?
Sorry.
We have cause and effect in this sentence also. So what is the cause or what is the reason in this sentence?
Um, the cough is I mean the best management.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the cause. That happened first.
Yeah.
Okay. First, we had bad management, and that caused this to happen.
Yeah.
The company closed. So, do you see how we got two sentences, different transitions, but it's actually the same meaning because both of these transitions are used for cause effect. So bad management is the cause, and then it closed, that's the effect. But we just used these two words and we had to kind of change the sentence structure a little bit. But the transitions have the same meaning. So that's why the bottom of page 136, you see the green box. The bottom of the page, it says cause effect. And then we have these transitions, because and thus and therefore. Okay. So do you have any questions about what we talked about today?
No.
Okay. So this is a lot to think about. I know this was a long lesson today, but this is just an overview of chapters 3 and 4. Okay. So what I would like for you to do, hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, is go through and do, maybe just do number 1, 2, and 3 of each exercise. Exercise 4:1, 4:2, 4:3. Just do number 1, 2, and 3, and then check your answers. Check your answers. Do you know how to check your answers to see if you got it correct?
Yes. You already sent on the blackboard the answer, right?
Yes. So it's very important that you check your answers. In my other video lesson, the student said, yeah, I'm doing the homework, but I don't check the answers. But you need to check. I would rather you just do 1 or 2 questions and make sure you check your answers. That's actually better than doing 10 questions and not checking, because we need to check. We need to make sure we get the right answer. And if you don't get the right answer, I want you to circle it and then ask a question in our next video lesson. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we are done with our lesson for today. So what's next? What's coming up next? Well, video 1 is already posted in week 2 of our Blackboard page. So here's a picture of what it looks like. It's about an hour long. So make sure you watch that if you haven't. And then lab 1 is due Friday. Okay, that's tomorrow. So the lab is to answer about 8 questions about the novel. So I know you have a hard time kind of reading through that because it's a lot of chapters, but do your best. Read as much as you can and then just answer as many questions as you can, so you can get credit for that. If you need to turn it in on Sunday, because I know Sunday you have off, that's okay. You can turn it in, Sunday evening if you need a little time.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And next week we're going to talk more about the novel. So I'm going to give you more details about it. So we'll keep going with that. This week I wanted you to email your answers to exercise 3.7, which is in your textbook.
So I have a question at
Yeah, go ahead.
2.7. So they want to write the sentence with the same meaning of the topic, right? I have to put the sentence on my for my sentence.
They want you to write about the same topic.
The same.
Right, the same topic, but pick a different opinion. So, for example, number 1 on page 106, number 1 says it's better to live in a city, right?
Yeah.
And then it says because ... What you do is you can change the opinion. So you can say it is better to live in the country because ...
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what they want you to do for that one.
Okay.
Okay, good question. So you'll email your answers to me and I'll check it and send it back to you. And we have chapter 3 and chapter 4 quiz that's due this week. But team, make sure you do chapter 2 quiz as soon as you can so you don't forget that material. Keep up with your quizzes as much as you can. I don't have a due date this week, but it's better if you can do them, week 1, try to do chapter 2. Week 2, try to do the chapter quiz, for week 2, so you don't get too behind with that. And then our next video will be Tuesday at 1, but we might change it to Monday. I'm going to talk to Alan and Hamza and see if maybe we can change it to Monday. But it will be Monday or Tuesday of next week, okay?
Yes.
All right, so that's it for today.
Okay.